Hello, everyone. Welcome to Unity of New Westminster's celebration service. Please join in the singing of our opening song today.
In the morning of my life, I shall look to the sunrise. At a moment in my life when the world is new, and the blessing I shall ask is that God will grant me to be brave and strong and true, and to fill the world with love my whole life through, and to fill the world with love, and to fill the world with love, and to fill the world with love my whole life through. In the noontime of my life, I shall look to the sunshine. At a moment in my life when the sky is blue, and the blessing I shall ask will remain unchanging, to be brave and strong and true, and to fill the world with love my whole life through, and to fill the world with love, and to fill the world with love, and to fill the world with love my whole life through. In the evening of my life, I shall look to the sunset. At a moment in my life when the night is due, and the question I shall ask only God can answer. Was I brave and strong and true? Did I fill the world with love my whole life through? Did I fill the world with love? Did I fill the world with love? Did I fill the world with love my whole life through? Did I fill the world with love? Did I fill the world with love? Did I fill the world with love my whole life through?
Welcome back. I am Reverend Rhona Segarra, and it is my pleasure to welcome you on behalf of the community at Unity of New Westminster in beautiful British Columbia, Canada. We would love to stay connected with you, so please subscribe to our newsletter or like us on Facebook or subscribe to our YouTube channel, and that way you can always know what's going on in our community. The Unity movement offers ideas for full and abundant living. We draw on the teachings of Jesus, who we consider our primary way shower and example. And we honor that there is universal wisdom to be found in faith traditions, in song, in story, in poetry, all over the planet. We respect and honor every person's right to choose their own life path. All are welcome here. All are worthy here. All are celebrated here.
We open our service today in prayer. I gratefully acknowledge that I speak to you on the traditional and unceded territory of the Semiahmoo First Nation. And we give thanks to First Nation peoples everywhere for their custody of this beautiful land. We give thanks for our connection one with each other. That connection that happens whether we are in each other's physical presence or not. That connection that binds us all together. We acknowledge that there is only one presence, that there is only one power, that power that is understood by many names, many faces, and many paths. And we affirm that regardless of the name, the face, or the path of our understanding, that we are one human family. And it is in that knowledge of our oneness that we send a blessing for love, for peace, for contentment to every being on this planet, to every being, regardless of all the labels that threaten to divide us. We are one. And for this knowledge, for this intention, and for the power that we have to bless, we give thanks. Amen.
I am so excited that we are now meeting in person and online at Unity of New Westminster. We are asking anyone who attends in-person services to be prepared to show proof of vaccination, to wear a mask, and to be symptom-free. And for now, at least, we are not having hospitality or refreshments after the service like we normally do. But hopefully that will happen soon. And then for those who are unable to join us live and in person, just remember that our online services will continue at the same time. Same YouTube channel, same Facebook channel. So whether we see you in person or whether you view our celebration services online, we are so glad that you are joining us.
Love is my decision. It's up to me to give of my heart. Love is my decision. No one else can tell me to start. And once I decide to change my mind, God will show me how. Love is my decision, right here and now. Love is my decision. It's up to me to stand on that bridge. Love is my decision. No one else can make me forgive. And once I decide right here and now. Love is my decision. It's up to me to dance down the road. Love is my decision. No one else can lighten my load. And once I decide to change my mind, God will show me how. Love is my decision. My decision right here and now. Love is my decision. It's up to me to dance down the road. Love is my decision. No one else can lighten my load. And once I decide to change my mind, God will show me how. Love is my decision, right here and now. My decision, right here and now.
In 1989, Connie Fillmore, the great-granddaughter of Unity co-founders Charles and Myrtle Fillmore, was asked to write a summary of Unity's basic teachings. She was asked to do this for Daily Word magazine, and she summarized the teachings into 5 main points, which we have come to know as the 5 principles of unity. These principles explain our understanding of our relationship to the creative energy that we call God. They explain our understanding of our relationship to each other, and they offer ideas for how we can live an abundant and contented life, even as we respond to those inevitable, unpleasant life events which sometimes fall out of our direct control. The principles build on each other and can be briefly summarized in my words as by whatever name you have for the creative power that forms us and forms all that is, that power which some of us call God, that there is no spot that God is not. 2, that because there is no spot that God is not, God includes us. If God is the energy of creation, then we are creative energy expressing in human form. And 3, because we are creative energy, we create constantly. We create how we respond to life's experiences with the power of our thoughts and with the ideas which we hold about those life experiences. And because we create constantly, we want to create consciously, with intention, with attention. When we take time to be still in prayer and meditation, we realign our power, restore our energy, and are more open to wisdom. And 5, because we are human, we recognize that habits are hard to break. Our goal is to live the principles. when we live in an awareness that we are one with all that is, including all the other people around us, when we live in awareness that our ability lies within us to form the experiences and our responses to the experiences that happen to us. When we recognize all of these things, then our lives will be full, abundant, and peaceful. So, very briefly, 1, there is no spot that God is not. 2, including us. 3, we create constantly. 4, let's create consciously. Don't just do something, sit there. And 5, let's put these principles into practice. Don't just sit there, do something. And because it's easier to remember things when they are put into song, at least it is for me, I created a tune of the 5 principles set to the tune of Happy Birthday. And it goes like this. One universal power, a network of all ideas lead to experiences. Take time to be still. You'll live in peace. Today, we consider the 5th principle of unity. The principle that reminds us that it is not enough just to know these things intellectually. We want to live them. We want our lives to reflect what we say we believe. We want to practice what we preach. We can say spiritual words all day long, but if our lives are miserable, then there's a disconnect between what we say we believe, or even what we want to believe, and what we actually do believe. Principle 5 encourages us to live the principles, to put them into practice, not just to speak them, not just to intellectually understand them, but to live them. As Eliza Doolittle says in a song in My Fair Lady, don't say the words, show me. And my thought is, and tell it to your face. Well, how do we put principle 5 into practice? How do we know if we're living these principles? Well, for me, the shortest answer is whether we can characterize our lives in the 9 words that we think of as the fruits of the Spirit. If our lives include love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control, then that is a recipe for a full and abundant life. And these are characteristics that we would be living automatically if we were living from a place where we practice what we preach. Note, by the way, that goodness is also known as generosity, not just a giving of a financial generosity, but a generosity of spirit, a willingness to be generous with our goodwill. And so, principles are easy to apply when things are going well. But when we're sick, or we've just lost our job, or we've been in an accident, or someone just yelled at us, or we just yelled at someone, or we're feeling scared, or we're unsure about whether to stand up to a bully, or when there's been a fire or a flood or a riot, when our friends and family believe differently than we do, then it becomes harder to feel loving and peaceful and joyful and patient and generous with our spirit. It becomes harder to be kind. We are tempted, indeed, to speak less faithfully about the people that we care about who believe differently than we do. And we may even act less faithfully. And gentleness, self-control, when we're in that place where we're upset, well, those can take a back seat whenever life throws us a curveball or circumstances are different than what we expect or what we want. And yet our goal is to live those principles all the time, not just in the good times, but all the time. My friend Martha Creek often says that our work begins when we leave our Sunday celebration service. We find it easy to feel strong and empowered and inspired on Sunday mornings or after hearing an uplifting message. The lesson that we want to learn is how to put those ideas into practice, even in the midst of dis-ease and disease. When I find myself in a place where my actions don't align with my goal to live peacefully, joyfully, and lovingly, I've discovered that an effective strategy is to move back into the principles, essentially going backwards from principle number 5, which is practice what you preach, back into principle number 4, which is take time to be still. And then back up to principle number 3, which is to remember that ideas lead to experiences. In the interest of wanting an easy way to remember that, I created a second verse to my happy birthday song. And it sounds like this. When peace isn't there, take time to be still and question your thinking. What other idea could add more peace? Now, your word doesn't have to be peace. I use peace because for me, it encompasses all the aspects of a full and abundant life, including those 9 fruits of the Spirit: love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, gentleness, faithfulness, and self-control. Insert, though, for yourself whatever word applies for you at the moment, whether it's when peace isn't there, take time to be still, or whether it's when joy isn't there, take time to be still and question your thinking. When love isn't there, take time to be still and question your thinking. What other idea could add more love, could add more generosity of spirit, could add more peace, could add more joy? It's an interesting idea, isn't it? To start at the back, at the bottom of the scale and go, I know that this is what I believe, but I'm not feeling it. What can I do to shift that? Let me be still. Let me question what my thoughts are. If you think of the principles as steps where each principle leads to the next step, that is, there is one universal power. Therefore, we're all connected to each other and to creative power. Therefore, we are creative beings. Therefore, we want to focus on what we create. Then this strategy of becoming curious and going backwards is a way to put the principles to work for us. And then when we find that peace isn't there, for example, we take a step to go to principle 4, which is take time to be still. This principle calls for us to rest, to meditate, and to pray. So the very first thing I'm going to do when I find myself in a place of disquiet is give myself time to rest, to take time and restore myself emotionally and physically. In this principle 4, when I practice it, I recognize that if I am hungry, angry, lonely, tired, feeling depleted in any way, then my capacity to respond will be less effective. So the first thing I want to do is to give myself time to reset, rest. Then move into a time of quiet. Open ourselves up to insights about our reactions, about questioning why we are feeling the way we are. This is a place which can feel vulnerable. Sometimes it can be quite scary as we look within and we're not certain about what might bubble up. And then, because of that, it helps to pray, to open yourself up to insight and ask for insight, to remind ourselves that we are part of creative power, and set an intention to remain connected to that intelligent wholeness of which we are a part. And one note about prayer then, about this step. Prayer is for us, to help uplift us. So if you find it helpful to pray by asking for help, help me, then by all means do that. Pray in whatever way makes you feel better. Whichever way restores you to a place of calm so that you can be open and curious. And then move to principle 3. Ideas lead to experiences. If we can accept that ideas and thoughts lead to experiences, then this is the place where we can question our ideas and our thoughts. We can ask ourselves deeply and honestly if we have to believe what we're thinking. Perhaps there is a different thought that we could choose, one which will produce more peace. Eventually, as we do this questioning more and more often, we realize that the question that we are asking ourselves essentially is, what story am I making up? What am I creating that is leading to my lack of peace, to my reluctance to love? What am I creating that is leading to suffering? What is a thought that is just one step more peaceful and more loving in this situation? What will reduce anxiety just a little bit? I'll give you an example. When I was at school, at seminary at Unity Worldwide Institute, there was a time when all of us students were feeling the crunch of being overwhelmed with the workload. We had term papers to write, we had talks to prepare, we had tons of reading, and everyone was just feeling a little like, how are we going to get through this? And I'll never forget what one teacher said. He said, what if you made it easy? And it was as if a light bulb went off for me. I could approach the work with anxiety, or I could approach it with a sense of calm, a sense of this is easy, and focus on simply getting the work done. Either way, the workload was not going to change. I could change. I could approach it feeling more empowered, less worried, knowing that whether I was worried or not, I was going to get the work done. All the worry did was add stress, anxiety, and a little bit of drama. And I have thought about that line, what if you made it easy? Many, many times since then. It's a perfect example of a way to put principle into practice. Question your thinking. What other idea could bring more peace? Now, one very important point about this goal of practicing our principles, of living in this place of love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, gentleness, faithfulness, and self-control. Having the awareness and the willingness to change our thinking, and by doing so, change our behavior and bring some more of these things into our lives is a wonderful goal. And it doesn't always happen easily or seamlessly. It will take repeated effort to do some of these changes that we want. To change our habit is so much easier said than done. Have you noticed? And so I want you to remember 3 words. Practice makes progress. Practice makes progress. Have you ever noticed that sometimes you intend to do something differently the next time, only to find yourself doing exactly the thing that you promised yourself you didn't want to do and were not going to do again? Maybe your goal is something physical, like deciding to eat more healthily, and then you find yourself diving into that bag of potato chips or the chocolate bar. Or is that just me? Or maybe you want to begin a new exercise regimen, and the hours in the day just go by, and by the end of the day, you realize you haven't even left the house. Maybe you decide that you want to improve your relationships, to react less when others are anxious or upset. Or maybe you want to gossip less, or to be more patient, or to listen more, only to discover yourself smack dab in the middle of the same habits, the same reactivity, the same upset, and so on. Well, if that happens to you, welcome to acknowledging your humanity. And if it's any comfort at all, I want you to know that you are not alone. I'm going to read to you a seemingly confusing passage written by Paul in a letter to the Romans, written 25 years or so after the death of Jesus. And as I read this, you will hear the word sin, and I want you to think in terms of sin as being missing the mark, kind of like aiming at a bullseye and not quite hitting it. You'll also hear the word members. Think of members as being our humanity, our human behaviors, our words, and our thinking. And so, Romans chapter 7, from Romans chapter 7, listen to these confusing words. They're so much fun. For I do not do the good I want, but the evil I do not want is what I do. Now, if I do what I do not want, it is no longer I that do it, but sin that dwells within me. Remember, sin is missing the mark. I delight in the law of God in my inmost self, but I see in my members another law at war with the law of my mind.
making me captive to the law of sin that dwells in my members. So then, with my mind, I am a slave to the law of God. But with my flesh, I am a slave to the law of sin. So I know it's quite a mouthful, but in essence, what Paul is saying here is that our human behaviors, our thoughts, our words, our actions, our members are often at odds with what we know in our minds that we want to accomplish. That it seems as if the picture that we often think of is the devil on one shoulder and the angel on the other. And, this idea of wanting to do one thing, the honorable thing, and still somehow falling flat on that and not actually executing it the way we want. To me, it's a really comforting thought that even in Paul's days, which was 2,000 years ago, and certainly before that, that people have always struggled with this idea of wanting to do better and struggling at times with breaking some habits. And so it's pretty clear to me that it's a normal human trait to struggle to overcome our habitual and sometimes very unattractive responses. It's pretty clear to me that it's a challenge at times to hit the mark that we aim for. And yet, I encourage you to keep going, to resolve again, to try again. Jesus said, forgive 70 times 7. Forgive yourself 70 times 7 when you fail at this missing the mark, when you miss the mark at what your goal is. Practice. With every practice, you will make progress. There is a saying in the first book of Corinthians, chapter 13, which reads, if I speak with the tongues of men and of angels, but do not have love, I have become a noisy gong or a clanging cymbal. If I have the gift of prophecy and know all mysteries and all knowledge, and I have all faith so as to remove mountains, but I do not have love, I am nothing. Practicing our principles includes treating ourselves and every other person we meet as if they are the expressions of God that they are. This includes aspects of ourselves that we don't like. It includes people that we don't like or people that we don't agree with. Let our guiding principle be love. Love for ourselves, love for others. And if it feels too challenging, like beyond the realm of possibility to connect with feeling love for somebody else, then ask yourself, what's the next most loving feeling that I can muster? Maybe the best you can manage is curiosity or a willingness to acknowledge that they hold different views than you do, or that there's a part of yourself that you're not that happy with. At least in all cases, be kind, be civil. And so how do we live, as Jesus put it, in a way in which we have life and have it abundantly? Practice these principles. Live the principles. One universal power, a network of all. Ideas lead to experiences. Take time to be still. You'll live in peace.
If peace isn't there, when joy isn't there, when love isn't there, take time to be still and question your thinking. What other idea could add more peace? Practice the principle. I bless you.
Peace in my life is growing because I choose love. Love's always present, it's what I'm made of. I choose love. We are a part of each other. We are one tie that binds us, that can't be undone. I choose love. Peace in my family is growing because I choose love. Let love be present, it's what we're made of. I choose love. We are a part of each other. We are one loving family, sharing one son. I choose love. Yes, I do. Peace for our planet is growing because I choose love. Let love be present, it's what we're made of. I choose love. We are a part of each other. We are one choice unites us. Let this be the one. I choose love. I choose love. I choose love.
You are invited to join us on Mondays at 11 o'clock for our weekly prayer service. It is a time where we get together on Zoom and we connect with each other. We share how we are doing with each other. We move into a time of guided prayer. And we read the names of the people who are on our prayer list. And it is a time of renewal, of connection. It is a profound experience of recentering. And so I invite you to join us for that. And if you would like your name, or you know someone who you would like to have added to that prayer list,
then please email us at unityofnewwestminster@gmail.com, and we'll be sure to have the person's name or your name added to our list. Mondays at 11. A memorial service for Ken Enns will be held at the church tomorrow, Valentine's Day at 11 o'clock. Ken was our prayer chaplain Gladys's partner for about 25 years. This celebration service of his life was originally planned as a private service, but with our decision to reopen to in-person services, we can now accommodate more people at Ken's celebration of life. The service will also be recorded and will be available for viewing likely by the end of this week. So if you are able to join us to support Gladys and to celebrate Ken's life, tomorrow, Valentine's Day at 11 o'clock at the church. Please mark your calendars for Sunday, March the 27th, right after the Sunday celebration service at about 12:15, because on that day we will hold our annual membership meeting. At the moment, we are planning to hold it as a hybrid gathering on both Zoom and sharing in the fellowship hall or the sanctuary. What we'll do is share the screen so that everyone, whether they are in person or on Zoom, will be able to join. If you are already a member of Unity of New Westminster, then your membership for 2022 will automatically be renewed unless you request otherwise. And if you are new and wish to become a member, please fill in the membership form which is on our website. So, Sunday, March 27th, our annual membership meeting, right after the service. Our dear friend Lyle Dellingham is making a denim quilt, which will look similar to the beautiful creations that he has already made and which are shown on your screen. When the quilt is finished, it will be auctioned off as a fundraiser for our Medicine Wheel Labyrinth project. We are looking for donations of denim, so if you have any used jeans in any color, in any size, please drop them off at the church on Sundays or on Wednesdays and Fridays between 11 and 1. Thank you, Lyle, for your generosity. I can't wait to see the finished project. These that you have already completed are absolutely beautiful. We are grateful for the financial support which we receive from those who enjoy our programs. With the pandemic, some of our expenses have been lessened and some of our expenses don't go away. So thank you for your generosity which supports our ministry. We give a portion of our income to organizations that do amazing work in our community, both locally and in our province. So your gifts make a difference in lives. We welcome donations by credit card, check, cash, or our preferred method, Interac e-transfer to unityofnewwestminster@gmail.com. Interac is free of service charges. Thank you. Now, please bring to your hands, to your hearts, or to your minds something that you are grateful for as we give thanks and remember how much we have to be grateful for. We are so blessed.
I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed.
And we come to the end of another service. I thank you for joining us. I hope that you enjoyed your experience with us today. I wish you all a very, very blessed week. Goodbye, everybody.
That was meant to be, with God as creator, family are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me.
I am the light of God. I am the love of God. I am the power of God. I am the presence of God. Wherever I am, God is. I am the light of God. I am the love of God. I am the power of God. I am the presence of God. Wherever I am, God is. You are the light of God. You are the love of God. You are the power of God. You are the presence of God. Wherever you are, God is. You are the light of God. You are the love of God. You are the power of God. You are the presence of God. Wherever you are, God is. We are the light of God. We are the love of God. We are the power